I've spent 3 years trying to learn languages: German, Spanish, Japanese, and for 3 years, I felt like an absolute failure. Because every time I opened YouTube, there's some guy in a thumbnail with his mouth wide open, shocking a street vendor in Mandarin, 15 languages, fluent in all of them. And I'm sitting here, 800 hours into Spanish, still forgetting whether it's ser or estar. So I did something stupid. I went down the rabbit hole. I read the forums, the Reddit threads, the linguistics papers. I talked to people who actually work as translators for a living. And what I found made me furious. Let me tell you about the maintenance treadmill. See, the polyglot influencers show you the party trick, the "OMG, you speak my language" reaction. What they don't show you is what happens 6 months later when they haven't touched that language. Gabriel Weiner, author of Fluent Forever, a guy who literally wrote the book on language learning, admitted his French, Russian, and Italian are kind of a mess because he stopped maintaining them. Listen to that again. A professional, a published author, can't keep 3 languages fresh. And these influencers claim they're juggling 15? Here's the math nobody wants to do. Maintaining just one language at a conversational level requires constant exposure, daily input, weekly speaking practice. Multiply that by 12 languages, and you're looking at a full-time job. Not a hobby, not a flex, a job. So what's really happening? They're faking it. I'm not being dramatic. The language learning community has been dissecting these videos for years. The patterns are obvious once you see them. Watch closely next time. The conversation never goes off script. It's always the same 3 questions. Where are you from? How long have you been learning? Do you like the food? That's not fluency. That's a memorized routine. One Reddit user watched a famous polyglot attempt Tagalog. The native speaker asked a question. The influencer responded with something completely unrelated. Didn't understand a word. Smiled through it. Another described watching an influencer get challenged by a Polish speaker. Instead of answering, the guy just said, "I know Polish," in Polish, and moved on. These aren't minor errors. This is performance art marketed as education. And the reason they do it? Because "I speak 15 languages" gets more clicks than "I've spent 10 years mastering one." The algorithm rewards the lie. But here's where it gets interesting. What if I told you that feeling like a failure is actually evidence you're doing it right? There's a concept in linguistics called lexical coverage. It measures how much of a language you can understand based on vocabulary size. The first 1,000 words you learn, they cover nearly 80% of everyday text. Let that sink in. 1,000 words. 8 out of 10 words you'll ever encounter. Going from 1,000 words to 2,000 only adds another 8% coverage. And from 4,000 to 5,000, less than 1%. The polyglot grinding through 10,000 words is spending thousands of hours for a 2% gain. Meanwhile, the person who stopped at 2,000 words and actually started using the language captured the highest value real estate and moved on with their life. This is the 80-20 rule on steroids. So what does this mean for you? It means the intermediate plateau, that frustrating phase where progress feels invisible, isn't a plateau at all. It's the peak. You stop learning fast because you're finally using. The brain shifts from acquisition mode to application mode. That's not failure, that's graduation. The obsession with native-like fluency is a trap set by perfectionism. Fluency isn't about eliminating your accent or knowing obscure vocabulary. It's about communicating without strain. If the other person doesn't need to slow down for you, you're fluent. B2 level, intermediate. That's where you can work, travel, fall in love in a language. The gap between B2 and C2? Massive in hours. Minimal in real-world utility. All right, so the whole game is rigged. What do you actually do about it? Here's method 1. It's going to sound insane, but it works. Find a tutor online, italki, whatever, and give them these instructions. Treat me like your child learning their first language. Speak only in your language. Don't teach grammar. Don't correct my mistakes. Just talk to me. This is called the language parent method. No English, no grammar charts, no red pen corrections, just a human being communicating with you like you're a capable adult who happens to have the vocabulary of a 3-year-old. Why does this work? Because your brain acquires grammar subconsciously through exposure, not through conscious memorization. Every time someone stops to correct your conjugation, it interrupts the natural flow and raises your anxiety, which literally shuts down the learning center of your brain. Children don't learn to speak by studying verb tables. Neither should you. Method 2. Compelling input. This comes from linguist Stephen Krashen. The idea is simple. You acquire language by understanding messages, not by speaking. Speaking is the result of learning, not the cause. The key is finding content that's slightly above your level. You get the gist, but learn new things. And it has to be so interesting you forget it's in another language. Not textbooks, not Duolingo. Watch Peppa Pig in Spanish. Read graded readers in French. Listen to podcasts designed for learners. When the content is compelling enough, your brain stops treating the language as a problem to solve and starts absorbing patterns automatically. Now, the final piece, the one that might actually change your decision about which language to learn. Bilingual professionals in the U.S. earn an average of $14,000 more per year than monolinguals over a 40-year career. That's over $500,000. But not all languages pay equally. Portuguese and Japanese speakers see premiums of around $15,000 per year. German commands a premium in engineering and corporate roles across Europe and the U.S. Spanish, while common, is essential for management positions in healthcare and construction. The strategy isn't learn whatever sounds cool, it's learn a language that pairs with a high-income skill. German plus engineering, Mandarin plus supply chain, Japanese plus tech. That creates a moat around your career that monolinguals can't cross. So here's the truth nobody wants to hear. You don't need 10 languages at a surface level. You need one language at a functional level, paired with a skill that actually pays. The polyglot influencer was playing a vanity game. You can play a strategy game instead. The science is clear. The methods exist. B2 fluency is achievable. Everything else is just noise, designed to keep you subscribed to apps and courses that profit from your insecurity. You're not broken. The game was just rigged from the start. Now you know how to win it.